All right, welcome everybody. It is Tuesday, April 12th, and it is week 2 of our basic training. And you know, it's been so great doing this basic training and kind of referring back to some trainings we did a year or two ago. And I was kind of, you know, building the slides and realizing that, and I think James touched on this last week, that really not much changes other than this company statistics. The rest of the stuff, it's really the same things. Now we have the VIP group, which we didn't have a year ago, so that's a little bit different of a training. But other than that, the fundamentals and the skills needed to succeed in this are the same as they were pretty much when I started, other than technology changing and things being easier. And I feel like, hang on. I feel like things are so much easier now. I mean, I can imagine when, when James started, how were you sharing information? You guys, you don't know even how lucky you are. For those of you who are in your first company or just doing this now, how lucky we are to have all the tools and resources that we have at our fingertips. And if you didn't see the post I made about ISA Sales Tools to Go, it's $1 right now to get that, to download that, and it's a great app. But we're so fortunate. James, just take a moment to share what it used to be like when you got started.
Well, I know it sounds a little archaic, but mostly we had to do stuff by phone. You know, I mean, we'd send emails, and we'd do stuff by phone, but there were no Zoom calls. We didn't do Facebook. There weren't Google Groups. There, you know, I mean, it was very, very, very primitive compared to what we do now.
You did not have email when you first started. Come on.
I did. In Isagenix, but not when I started in the industry.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh no, we didn't even have phones. We used telegraph and we used pigeons, carriers for messages, and yes, I know. It's a very long time ago.
And you used to send cassettes, I bet.
Oh yes, the industry was totally cassettes and books.
Yeah. So can you imagine having to mail somebody a cassette? I mean, the sharing part of it is easier than ever. And, you know, maybe because it is more immediate, maybe that's kind of what scares people a little bit. Because I guess sending a cassette to someone across the country in the mail, the mailman delivers it, we don't have to. And so it is a more connected kind of sharing, but you guys, sharing really is the lifeblood of what we do. And if you don't get out there and use the tools that you're learning here, then it's really just a hobby that we're practicing. So we're going to get into week 2. Let's see if the screen share works the way it's supposed to. Share screen. Interview. All right, so are you guys seeing just the one slide, or are you seeing the preview?
Just the one slide.
Okay, perfect, great. All right, so we already did wins and victories. So everything, any sort of business or endeavor or undertaking, whether you're running a marathon, which I imagine is a lot of planning and a lot of training, or starting a new business, or wanting to build a home, you really have to have a solid foundation. And network marketing is a very simple profession and business, but there are certain skills that are involved. So we still have to learn that and build that solid foundation. Having written goals, I think, is really important. And then breaking them down. That's why these 90-day game plans, you guys, the company is just genius and brilliant with what they offer us, because a 90-day game plan is basically one quarter, and it's easily broken down into 3 30-day segments, which are easily broken down into weekly segments, which then you can go back to, okay, what do I need to do on a daily basis? And they've even given us a little planner in which we can track that. If you don't have your goals written down, then I don't know how you can possibly know what to do each day, right? And tracking all of if you're not tracking, then how do you know if what you're doing is efficient and getting the right ROI? And I think tracking really helped me see where I needed to adjust or regroup or tweak in order to get to where I wanted to be at the end of that 90 days. So the consistent actions, and some of you maybe are building really, really part-time, and 3 and 3 and 3 is a lot for you, and you just can't do it. But then turn it into 1 and 1 and 1. So 3 contacts, 3 follow-ups, and at this point when you're just building a new, 3 presentations. If you have an established team that you're supporting, then it would be maybe 3 team touches or pouring greatness into somebody. So like I said, if you can't do 3, do 1. Do 1, 1, and 1. But having consistent daily action is really key. It's more effective doing something each day and touching your business each day than being like a weekend warrior and going all out on Saturday and then not touching anything the whole week. Imagine Marta, right? If you were training only once a week, you went and ran like crazy all Saturday and didn't do anything the rest of the week. That would not get you into run the Boston Marathon. You wouldn't even qualify for that. So 5 to 6 days a week. You definitely need to take that one day off and unplug and everything. And that's where you develop those skills. So one thing I learned from Susan's slide that I love is kind of front loading your week, planning the week on Sunday night, getting all the really critical, most important things done earlier in the week. And then that makes sort of the end of the week a little more relaxing, perhaps. Now, part of that, as I mentioned, is tracking your activity. And that is critical because it would be really good if you know that if I present to 10 people, I know I can enroll 3 or 4 or 2 or 3 or 5 as you get better. But if you don't know, I have people say, oh, I've talked to all my friends and I didn't enroll anyone. Okay, well, let's look at that. How many really did you talk to? How did you present it? Because truly, if you have presented to 10 people and none of them joined, then we really need to maybe review and find out what's going on. There could be just a little tweak in languaging or how you're presenting or how you're following up. So if you're finding that you feel like maybe you're not getting the results you want and you'd like to review some of what you're doing, we're happy to help. Whoever you're working with, I'd be happy to look at that, or whoever you're working with. So make it a goal initially to get paid weekly. And that's easy to do, right? Even if you're not cycling right away, but we get paid weekly just on PIBs and double PIBs. So that's phenomenal. And I want to make sure this, in case I forget at the end, I'll just insert it now. If any of you don't have Isopulse loaded, please get it loaded. And if I could also request, please you guys upload a profile picture into your Isopulse, because that way when I get notifications and I want to post something, it has your picture in it instead of just a blank circle with kind of an outline of a guy, or kind of a, what do they call those? Just an outline. So it's really nice having those pictures in there. I think everyone's familiar with how the PIBs and double PIBs work. If you're not, then certainly go into isafyi.com, Google double PIBs, and download the flyer. All right, the power of the cycle. I know sometimes people kind of think, oh, $54, no big deal. I can't get too excited about $54. Get excited about $54, because think about how much money would you have to have in the bank at current interest rates, which are negligible, in order for the bank to, first of all, the bank's not going to send you money every week, even if you had a really good interest rate. But to earn $54 every week, that's an extra $2,800 a month. And it grows beautifully. So every cycle, celebrate it. Oh my gosh, I used to get so excited. I logged in every morning into my back office, even at the way beginnings when I only had a few people. And the first time I cycled overnight, oh my gosh, you guys, that was like big happy dance, because I made money while I was asleep. That was so powerful to me. And if you don't understand how powerful that is, think about what else has ever paid you in your life while you were sleeping. Now, unless you have a bunch of money and you're investing in the stock market or real estate or whatever, which I certainly wasn't in that position. So The cycles, maybe you're cycling only once a month at first, and then once every couple of weeks, and then once a week, and then twice a week. And then think about when you start cycling every day and then multiple times a day. It happens. It doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen if you take that consistent, persistent action. So, and that persistent, consistent action, of course, involves talking to people. So what if, just imagine, what if everything you ever wanted in life, whatever that is, whatever those deepest desires and dreams that you have, is on the other side of it, 80 to 100 direct conversations, like presentations to people. How long would you take to do it? I took a long time to do it. I didn't do it fast. And it's easier to do it fast, believe me. So you guys all at this point from last week all have a list of 100 names, right? So how quickly do you want to get through those names? If you're talking to 5, 6, 7 people at a time during the week, you're not as attached as if you're talking to one person. And that's all you're talking to, one person, and they, there's energetically, they're going to feel like they're it for you. Whereas if you have 20 people in your pipeline, so to speak, who are maybe some are in the group, some you're just texting with, some you're meeting with to present to, if you have that going on, then that creates that energy of excitement and detachment. And it's really interesting how people, when they feel like you're not as attached to the outcome, I think somehow it attracts people even more, right? So you're coming from a place of inspiration instead of desperation. So think about and look at if you're tracking them, and if not, start tracking your numbers. How many people are you talking to a day? How many new people are you talking to a day? And I mean I mean either developing a relationship so you can introduce Isagenix or introducing Isagenix. And this is something that I learned early on, and that is you have to be willing to suck at something long enough till you get good at it. I'm sure when I was first presenting Isagenix to my first 50 people when I very first started, I'm sure it wasn't smooth and flawless, and I'm sure I made a fool of myself. And there were people who thought, you're crazy, what are you doing? But, I just kept going. So one of the first skills, now that you have your list, which is great, and if you don't have your list yet, make it and keep growing it. Your list is a live thing that should be being added to every single day. Now, some of you have maybe already been around for a while and feel like you've sort of gone through your warm market. So here are some other ways. So skill number 1 that brand new people need to learn, especially if they don't have a large circle of influence, is lead generation. Facebook has been great. I think 6 of the last 10 people that I enrolled came from Facebook. So Facebook is an amazing, wonderful, free tool. Use it as a tool. Don't use it just as a time waster or just to, creep around and look at people's posts. Use it thoughtfully and intentionally. And if we have time at the end, I would love for Chelsea to share, because she's really doing a lot of Facebook lead generation as well. So I'd love for her to share some of her tips. And if not, maybe we'll do a separate training on that after this 4-week series. Meeting people day to day. I love what Laura shared, that she, it would have been just as easy to get in her car and drive away and not do that, not make the effort to meet that person, but she did it. And it was, nobody died. It was probably a little scary, but then ended up being a really great experience. Friends and family. You guys, in network marketing, I was on a thread in a group I'm in, and somebody asked about network marketing and, why does it have such negative connotations? And somebody said this whole thing about, oh, well, you have to go after your friends and family, and that's what gives it such a bad reputation. And I kind of thought, how can you look at it that way? First of all, why would you ever get involved in a venture of any sort where you felt like you had to go after your friends and family? Instead of, we have such an incredible gift of wellness, how would you not want to share it with your friends and family? Because I wouldn't get involved with something that I wouldn't be proud to share or want my family to be part of, or, products that they'd be using. So I think that friends and family, of course we would want to contact our friends and family. This is a gift to them, right? We touched on this last week in making your list. Anyone you pay money to every month, hairdresser, insurance agent, mani pedi person, your cleaning lady, whoever you pay to, definitely owes you a little bit of time to take a look at what you're up to. And realtors, car sales, insurance, those are all great people. So Facebook is such a perfect platform. And look at that, Jennifer Furr. I remember this one from back then. We did this training a while back. And it's such a perfect platform for us. Now, you'll probably see a lot of other companies that do the whole, they plaster it all over their wall, the eyelashes and the before and after pictures with the name of the company and all that. And we just find it works better to not mention the name of the company, just to generate interest with interest generating posts. And then take it offline, connect with those people, and then get them into the VIP group. I was just messaged privately by somebody, and I can't even remember now the name of the company, but she said, and I don't know her, we're just Facebook friends, so we weren't like warm market. And she messaged me and said, I've selected 10 people to receive a special discount from me of $25 off your first order, and you're one of my 10. And she sent me her website and all this stuff, and I'm thinking, how does this even work for people? I don't know. She said it was working for her. We started a conversation, but so don't be that person. Be the person that people come to you to ask questions. And I know that Jamie Hunter has done a great job of that as well. I mean, she had people picking up the phone and calling her just from a couple of posts she made on Facebook. And the newer you are, I feel like the easier it is actually to do that. So post consistently, daily, and mix it up, inspirations, health posts, fun stuff, lifestyle stuff. Definitely you want to do, post about stuff that you do in your life or that shows up in your life or that you enjoy. And if you post an inspirational post, like a picture or something, write something about it. And I know Chelsea's really been doing a lot more of that as well. And I think the return on that investment of time is really good. And then making, some power posts. And power posts really mean that, it can be one of those really raw and real posts, or something that's going to generate a lot of interaction. Another great way, if you're not getting a lot of interaction on your wall, is to start building up so you can be in your friends' news feeds. First of all, for sure, go and comment on your friends' posts, right? Because if you're just looking at their posts or clicking like and not commenting, you may not be showing up in their news feed either. So if there are certain friends you want to see your posts, interact with them, contribute to them by commenting on their posts as well. And then then do posts where like fill in the blank posts are really good. Or I'm thinking, should I get an iPhone or a what's the other kind of phone called? Android, things like that. Or I need advice about such and such, or a picture of a dress. Do you prefer this one or this one? I'm going to a party this weekend. People love to give their opinions and love to give their feedback. So that's a way that you can really start generating some of that interaction. And the more interaction you get, the higher you're going to be on people's news feeds. So there are 3 types of leads, if you will. And that is warm market. So there's people who know and who know you and who you know. That was confusing to say. Lukewarm market would be people who you know by name but maybe aren't close to. And then cold market are people who don't know you and you don't know them. And cold market can take, and this was really a big eye-opener for me because I'm working primarily cold market now. People, so it takes up to 16 or more exposures. When you don't have that relationship with people, it's going to take a lot more exposures before you build that bond. They learn to trust you, they learn to like you. It takes some time to do that. So be patient with those cold market people. So skill number 2 is booking appointments. So for us, booking an appointment could be simply inviting them to the VIP group. Text blasting. So for those of you who don't know what text blasting is, it's really simple. so you have your, let's say you have your list of top 10. All you text, if they're local, you can text blast something like, hey, coffee next week, lunch this week, want to go for a walk late on the weekend? Just something simple, and get in front of them and then learn, we've already developed your story, learn how to share. And we'll talk about the different kinds of approaches further on. So text blasting doesn't have to be about, hey, I want to show you something or look at something. It's really just getting yourself in front of that person. And it can be a coffee, a walk, a lunch, a glass of wine, whatever kind of interaction works. Want to go for a pedicure with me, whatever works. Sorry, I'll go back to inviting to VIP group first. And that is, that generally is you'd have some sort of conversation going with someone already, and they maybe have some level of interest. So instead of, sharing videos with them and sharing all the information, say, hey, listen, I'm really busy and I don't have time to get into it right now, but I'd love for you to learn a little bit more about what I'm up to. And part of what I'm up to involves this great community called Very Inspired People. It's a secret or a private group. I can get you a guest pass to take a look, and it may or may not be for you, but at least you'll learn about what I'm so excited about. And that's it. You don't even have, I have invited people in there. The word Isagenix never came up. The word network marketing never came up. So really it's just, I do of course tell people though that I don't say network marketing or direct sales or Isagenix, but I do say it's a group that is really filled with inspiration, motivation, and education about a superfood product line. So you don't want to kind of blindside people, but say, oh yeah, it's just a fun motivational group, and then you're sharing a video about Isagenix. So they do need to know that there's something you're going to be sharing with them there. Facebook messaging can be like text blasting, hey, want to get together, or I'm working on something I'd love to talk to you about, chat with you about, when are you available, or what's the best time and number. Picking up the phone used to be the best way. I still think that is a great way. I don't know that people, honestly, and especially the younger generation, correct me if I'm wrong, but Jennifer and Chelsea and that, you guys probably text more than talk, yeah, right? So calling is great, but I see young people who get a phone call and they look at it and they put it down and then they text later. So, and then of course, my very favorite way to interact with people is in person. There's nothing like it where you just can share that energy and excitement in the most, the best way possible. All right, so knowing the numbers, this is something that I think a lot of people don't realize either. But, if you talk to 4 people and nobody was interested, that's not enough people to talk to when you think about it. So if you talk to 90 to 100 people, you may book 50 to 60 appointments or presentations, or 50 or 60 of them might join the VIP group, whatever you're promoting. And out of that, you may get 20 enrollments. So if you want to go executive and develop 10 consultants, personally enrolled, etc., you need to know these numbers. And if you're talking to one person a day, calculate how long it's going to take you to get there, right? And that's why I keep saying, I wish I had done it. That's one thing I do wish I had done it faster, because it is a lot easier faster than slower. Just checking our time. All right, so there are 3 different ways to have people take a look. And if you're brand new, then you would use probably a different approach. Then, hang on a sec. Sorry guys, I don't know why this isn't advancing. Whoa! Okay. Sorry, my arrows stopped working for some reason. Anyone a PowerPoint guru? Okay, here we go. All right, so the practice approach is great when you're brand new, or if you're really shy or really introverted and just don't feel comfortable being so direct. So you could say something like, hey, Linda, listen, I'm in a group of 20 people being privately mentored, or 10 people or whatever, by a millionaire in a company, and she's mentoring me for free. She's just asked me to do my homework, and I'm wondering if I sent you over some information, would you, just to practice, would you do that? Would you help me out and take a look at it? You know, or ask 10 people to practice with you, especially warm market and family. That's the best way, because most people like to help. And if you say, hey, would you help me out with something? I'm just practicing learning a new skill, or I'm just in a group and we have a challenge to have 10 people look at some information. Would you be one of my 10? So that's a really easy way to kind of have people take a look without, you know, getting too nervous. And most people do like to help. So referral approach is also great. And that's how Kathy Coover built the 3 organizations right to the top of the company. So when practicing or referring or direct asking, it's really important to edify the other person as to why are you asking them. I really admire you. I admire how you built your business, or I admire how entrepreneurial you are, or I admire how open-minded you are. And I'm so excited. I'm launching a new project. I'm looking for some referrals. If I sent you over some information, could you take a look just to see if someone might come to mind in your circle, or someone you know who would be potentially interested. I'm looking for people who want to release weight, looking for more energy or sleep better, or just an overall, or athletes who are looking to perform better. Do you know anyone like that? And you know what? A lot of times the person will say, well, I might be like that. I'm trying to lose the last 10 pounds, or I work out and I'm not getting anywhere at the gym. So the referral approach is really great. And oftentimes the person you're actually trying to get the referral from will take a look for themselves. And then the direct ask is once you're comfortable and confident, or just willing to really step out of your comfort zone. And that's just direct. So Glenn, hey, listen, I'm working on a project and I thought of you. I thought of you because we had so much fun working at XYZ company. I thought of you because you're just such a go-getter. I thought of you because you mentioned that your company is downsizing and you're worried about your job. Whatever reason that you thought of him. And I made a list of some really, truly exceptional people I know, and you're on the top of that list. If I sent you some information, would you take a look? So it can be as simple as that. So the direct approach on the phone, you can still phone people, believe it or not, some people do. And you guys feel free if you want to take screen captures of this, or phone calls. I think a lot of these types of scripts are also on Isagenix Business. But make it so it's your own words. Just get this as a guideline, but talk about it in your own words. And when you're approaching someone, regardless of the approach, set an appointment for a time to follow up within 12 to 24 hours. So if they say, sure, yeah, shoot me over a video, you might say, I'm going to shoot you over a 6-minute video, a 12-minute video. And when can you watch it? Make sure you also set the time for the follow-up. So it's not just sending, because then you'll be doing the whole, hey, did you watch it? Well, I didn't know when I was supposed to call you. So direct approach, be direct. It's a business. Set the appointment, and away you go. Another one. You might phone up, hey, Sue, it's Stephanie calling, and we haven't spoken in a long time. And to be honest, I feel a little nervous. If you're nervous, admit it. But I felt it was really worth the risk. And just say something like, I do want to catch up. I'd love to hear what's new in your life. You may even do that first. Just say, I'm calling about something I want to share with you. Let's catch up first for a minute. What's been going on with you? Because then you might find out something that really helps you offer a solution to them. So I'm working on a project and you came to mind because, edify, tell them why. And I was wondering if you would be open to me sharing a little bit about what I'm working on, or what I'm so excited about. And really, you guys, it's your excitement that will get people interested. It's not the words you say, it's how you say those words. An indirect approach is still compliment and edify. And maybe you can help me with something. I'm looking for few key people who would like to be part of an exciting new business venture or a project or a mission. Who do you know who might be interested in making an extra $50,000 a year? If I can show you how to increase your bottom line without affecting your overhead, would you be interested? Who do you know in direct sales or network marketing? You can make it more product focused if you'd prefer, right? So you're looking for people. I'm looking for people who do you know who already drinks protein shakes? Who do you know who's really health conscious? Who do you know who'd love to stay home with their kids? So who do you know is a really great one. And then, of course, the practice approach we talked about a little bit again, still complement and edify. I have a favor to ask. I'm in a training program. I'm learning some new skills. Would you let me practice with you? And that's it. It's really, really simple, you guys. And sometimes people will jump on and say, do you have 10 minutes to watch a video now? And they will. And then you want to be able to ask them, what did you like about what you saw? Or I'm gonna send you a video, and I'm gonna ask you after what you liked about it, because that way you focus people into something positive. You want to make sure you don't think people are or people aren't thinking like, oh, I should give her feedback. I wonder if I like this video or not. You expect them to like it, and you want them to share with you what they're going to like about it. So how to share. Being confident really is important. And if you're nervous, then don't pretend to not be nervous, because people will hear it, and just say, listen, I'm so nervous to talk to you. I've been debating if I should, but this is too important for me not to share with you. And I couldn't stand it if I didn't at least share this with you. Ask questions, form, right? We've talked about this on other calls. Family, occupation, recreation, motivation or money, and C is community. So what are people involved with? Be prepared, compliment people, and the way to keep control of the conversation is you asking them lots of questions, right? When the opportunity arises, ask for permission to share your story, which now you guys should all have a great 30-second story from last week. So be enthusiastic and excited, be friendly, and treat people like they're important. You know what? We live in such a high-tech world that if we can implement a bit of high touch and caring to people, it just feels so good. Create curiosity. Don't give too many details. That's the key. And I definitely did that at the beginning. I way said too much. So don't go into explaining that it's shakes and what a cleanse day is and ashwagandha extract. And it's none of that. We talked about that a little bit last week, the restaurant analogy. You don't have to tell them the whole history of it and what kind of paper the menu's printed on and what school the chef went to. So, so that's pretty much it. I'm going to post what I didn't include in here is Eric Worre's 8 Steps to Sharing, and it goes right with what we talked about. So if you're not inviting people to the group, or even if you are, you could really adapt it, because it's also setting the appointment with them as exactly when to follow up. So even if you're inviting people to the VIP group, you don't have to set an appointment to add them once they've agreed to be in there, but setting the appointment that, hey, I'm going to share a little video in there, which is going to explain what it's all about. And so I'd love to check back with you and then follow those steps of Eric Worre's to set that follow-up appointment. Otherwise, we're just kind of putting people in there and not, they don't know that they need to make a decision. And years and years ago, even, Mary Kay, you guys have all heard of. Mary Kay is an amazing company. And Mary Kay Ash said, people need to be led to a decision. And that's more true than ever now. People are so overloaded with information, overwhelmed with information. And if we don't lead them to that decision and ask those questions, those decision-making questions, they might just be in there enjoying the group and kind of not really knowing maybe what to do with that. So for this week, if you guys haven't narrowed down your list of 100 to 10, please do that. And if you want to schedule some time to strategize how to approach your 10, let's do that. But this week, go to isogenicsbusiness.com and print out your map to Crystal Executive. and actually fill it out, like from your list. If you could make the decision for people who's going to join you, who's going to be your board of directors, your 10 consultants to have you go executive, who would those people be? And write their names in there. I wrote 18 names and 10 of them did become my consultants. I think I shared that last time. So get comfortable with inviting guests to VIP. And I would venture to say that everybody on here should be capable of inviting and adding 4 or more guests this week. I'm gonna make a note. That goes for me too. And book 10 or more appointments, presentations, or looks. That includes, if you have 4 guests in the VIP, then 6 presentations or 6 videos. And please continue to contribute daily to the VIP group. We have lots of new people in there now, lots of new guests in there now, and they're loving it. People are loving it, and the busier it is, the more they seem to love it. If you do have people who complain that it's busy, here's the thing. A lot of people have their Facebook set up, their Facebook notifications set up, not just the group, but Facebook, that they get sent to their phone, sent to their email. So their phone is going bing, 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 and 50 emails a day. They can turn all that off. I really encourage people to just have, my Facebook notifications, I see them when I go to Facebook. I don't have anything like pushing out at me all the time. When somebody posts on my wall or tags me in a picture, I see that when I actually go to Facebook. So if people are feeling overwhelmed, and I think Christine can vouch for that, I think she had every kind of notification turned on from Facebook possible, and I don't know if that changed yet, but that is what can be overwhelming. I don't think it's so much the notifications from the group, but we definitely don't want people to leave the group. If somebody's really that overwhelmed with it, they can have them change the settings, not to turn the notifications off maybe, but just to get notifications from friends. But I tell people, I don't tell them up front, oh, if it's busy, turn the notifications off. I set it up for, it's a busy group. There's so much posting going on. You're going to love it. So that's kind of more the expectation I set. And all right. We are going to take some takeaways. So I don't need to share my screen for that now. Oh. All right. Oh. All right. Did we stop the share?
I still see your screen there. Now it's off.
All right. So, any takeaways, any questions, any clarifications?
I like the know your numbers, talking to 60 people or 100 people or even getting 20 enrollments out of it and then slowly making your way up to executive. That's a lot of people.
Thank you. That's a big eye opener, right? And I mean, I think I don't know, certainly everyone you've been talking to, but I think you have a pretty good ratio from, the number of guests you've had and the number of people that you've had join, and it's good.
Yeah, and I still have, a lot of people are still sitting in the VIP group and they're kind of still stewing on it. Like, they keep checking back with me and, they tell me what they like about the group. And, I know they're still watching because we still talk about it quite frequently, but they're just not ready yet. And that's okay.
That's okay. And sometimes, when you check in periodically too, and we'll be talking more about that, collecting the decision, is saying, so I'm just curious, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1, no way, this isn't for me at all, and 10, I'm ready to enroll right now, where are you? And if they say 6, say, great, well, what do you think it would take to get that number a little higher? What else do you need to know? Because maybe they need to see something that's not being posted in the group. I don't know. Maybe they're science geeks or...
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's funny too, because today I just realized that the girl that I go to the gym with, I always see her there. She is on Isagenix and she just started within the last few days. So that was kind of, 1, a kick in the teeth, but 2, it's really exciting because she's excited now that she has someone she can share, talk about it with. because she didn't have anybody except for her enroller. So that's nice, I think. So
that's someone you were seeing on a daily basis
yeah,
and you hadn't shared with?
no, that I should have. I thought about it too, and I'm like, what? But then seeing her was so inconsistent. I didn't want to be like, hey, remember that time we were talking about that one thing? And yeah, but now I learned my lesson.
You know, thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure probably everybody on this call has had those situations. I know I've had several of them. And I can tell you one thing, I've never regretted being too direct, but I've always regretted not being direct enough in the times that kind of thing happens. So yeah, our downstairs neighbor showed up with a box of Isogenics in his hands and it wasn't from us. So where we used to live. So thank you, Jennifer. So good. Okay, so next time. Yeah. All right. Who's next?
Yeah, Chair. Steph, I love that quote, people need to be led to a decision. And I mean, it makes so much sense because otherwise, you'd never need a salesman in a store, right? You walk into a store, you walk around and somebody comes up and says, can I show you anything? Can I help you? And that's sort of what we are. I put people into the VIP group and then they just kind of wander around and, you have to follow up with them and make sure that you're moving them towards a decision. Otherwise, there's no point in them being in there. So I really like that.
Thank you. And actually, that brings me to a point of, and you guys, if any of you have guests, I mean, we want everyone to contribute, obviously, but if you have guests, it's even more important because, Jennifer, they're more likely to read a post from you than from me. They don't know me from Adam, right? So if you're making a post, so if for example, one of your guests is an athlete, make a post about one of our AMP products or make a before and after post with a, buff person. Whenever I add someone and I know, if I happen to know like their body type and what they'd like to look like, within 24 hours, I'm finding a before and after picture that I think will tweak their interest, right? So that's something that to think about. Or I can't remember who somebody added. I don't know if it was rugby they played or something, and I went online and searched out a story that I thought would be relevant to that person. Penny, I think, added someone who wanted to gain weight, so we made some posts around that. So, yeah, just know that think about it. If you took somebody to a store and they know you and you have a relationship with them, and I walk up to them and try to sell them something, they might be like, well, no, I don't, I'm here with Jennifer, but I haven't seen her in a few days, but when I buy, she's my girl. So they want to hear from you more than anyone.
And in that case, would I comment on one of the before and after posts in the group? Like in the I think we have like an album, right? For before and afters?
Yeah, well, if you think a comment they may see, but a post they're way more likely to see. So you can certainly download it and upload it again. Maybe don't put it back in the album again, but on the wall, we can recycle posts all kinds of times. So, or if you saw it, maybe Gina made a post last week that you thought, oh, I hope my friend saw it. Message them and say, hey, did you see that post Gina made? Or post it this week.
Yeah.
Because not everybody in there sees every post, for sure. And I've seen some recycled posts already, and it's fine. It doesn't seem like, oh my God, they're posting that same thing again. It's moving so fast, I don't think people will even notice or realize it. So, Chelsea, did you want to share we have a couple minutes left about how you've been, your little Facebook strategy lately? So,
I could probably do a full training on it, but I could I'll throw out a couple things. The way I tackle Facebook and social media is I feel like we get paid to make friends. And so that's what I do. When I go on social media, I'm making friends. So if I like a post, I'll make sure I also comment. Why am I liking it? And then I'll make sure I interact with other people who have commented as well, just because it helps spread. It helps you spread out more as well. For me, I joined lots of different mom groups, but other groups, I just got my Reiki level 1 certification, so that opens the door for more people too. So it's just it's just finding like-minded people another way. And you don't talk about Isagenix right away. You develop a friendship, and it eventually will come out. We have a solution for everything. Eventually, as you talk and get to know them, you're gonna find a way to organically present it, and then it's just natural. It's not salesy. It's just part of the conversation, like recommending a restaurant or a movie or something to do with your kids. And then they want in with that. So
Thank you.
that's the easiest way I can explain it.
Yeah. No, it's good. And it is that interaction. And then you're actually writing longer posts. And I think you're getting more interaction from that. Instead of just posting a motivational quote, you write about that and how it applies to your life. And
yeah, and I'm making sure I'm more relatable and not just sharing things, but sharing things about me and myself and personal, and then also trying to do the imagine and getting other people to start putting themselves in that situation as well to get them more fired up. So it's, and that's a big part of it. You want to do posts that people want to look at. And if you just share something or you just post something and don't say why, people are just going to scroll by it. I do it with some of my sister's posts, and just because I'm like, well, that's great, you're sharing it, but I don't know why it's interesting, so I'm going to keep going. So it's not to be mean, it's just habit, it's psychology. We're also very immediate gratification minded now. So tell me why, give me a reason why I need to be interested. So we have to just keep up to date with that too.
absolutely. And you know what came to mind as you were saying that? It's like if I said to you, Chelsea, you should go see this movie. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I said, oh my God, we just saw this movie, whatever, and we laughed our butts off. It was the funniest movie I've seen all year. I think you and Chris would love it. Go on your date night. Then you might look at it.
Yeah.
Seriously to do that. So thank you.
Yeah.
All right. One more takeaway and we'll wrap it up.
Hey, can I just say that what Jen was sharing too is, and that's happened to us, but it seems to be happening more and more because Isagenix gets bigger and bigger and more people are finding out about it. And maybe we just need to say it that way. Listen, I'm working with this amazing nutrition company and I want to tell you, because if I don't tell you, you're going to hear it from somebody else, because this is amazing. And I just have to share that with you and take out of it what you want. But if you want any more information, I'd love to share it with you.
That's great. Or even saying, I'm sure you've already heard about this, but you may not know we're involved.
Exactly.
And have you heard of Isagenix? And if they say no, and say, you haven't? Oh my God, how did you not hear about it yet? It's spreading like wildfire. And, and if they have, oh, wow, well, what do you know about it? Because a lot of people say, oh yeah, I know about it. Unless you've put it in your body, you don't know about it. Trust me.
Like you said, like back to that, start asking them questions like, well, what do you know about it? Yeah. Like, what have you found out about it?
Yeah. And people usually or either don't know anything or misinformation. Oh yeah, it's really expensive. Or, oh yeah, I think he's cleansed for 30 days, or they don't know. So ask. If they say, oh, I know about Isagenix, great. What do you know about it? When did you do it? I ask people that. When did you actually do it? Oh, you haven't done it? Well, then you don't really know about it. So.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a great note to end on. Definitely. I love that. I'm going to start using that. Have you heard about Isagenix yet? You haven't? Oh my God. Well, let me be the one to tell you.
Yeah. Because if I don't tell you, somebody else is going
Absolutely.
to. I want to be the one to tell you.
I want to be the one to tell you. I love it. All right. So you guys, please work on those lists. The list is nothing unless you contact those people. And just think about somebody is praying for a solution, and you could be the messenger that brings them the solution that they're so desperately seeking. So if there have been people who have called me, it's like, okay, I have my list and I'm nervous and I need a little pep talk, and how should I talk to this person? So if you want to do that when you're making those calls, I love doing that. I love strategizing. I love encouraging. So reach out and let's get rocking. So if everybody here adds 4 people to the group, count it up. It's a lot of new people in that VIP group. So thank you guys for joining. Have a blessed week, an amazing week. Reach out for any support and help you need, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Thanks, Steph. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah.